So my plans have never gone exactly the way that I wanted them to. What I had planned is when we opened our first business that we would open 100 salons throughout the whole country, and that's what it would be. But there was the plan, and then there was actually what happened. And what I found is over time, it's not the plan or your ability to plan, it's your resilience when your plan doesn't work. Because most of the time, the greatest things that have happened in my life or in my friend's life have all come from just a little mistake. Let me tell you a quick story about it. I had an idea to make a body wash. My brother was working with Vanderlei Silva. We were going to make this body wash, and Vanderlei Silva, number one fighter in the world in the UFC at the time. And I thought there's no way we could lose with this thing. We go and do it. They send me a product that's off to the side. Hey, try this also. And I was like, yeah, whatever. We made the Vanderlei Silva body wash. It's going to go nuts. What is this little product? I throw it off to the side. Well, that product that I threw off to the side became the number one seller in the Vanderlei Silva body wash, never sold one bottle. So there's the thing of the plan, and then there's the way in which, life works out, and our ability to deal with what comes at us or the challenges that happen, that determines our reality. And especially with December 31st, so happy New Year's to you. We're going to have New Year's celebration. Everyone's going to have New Year's resolutions, which is going to be amazing. You're going to take your business, you're going to clear it out. You're going to say, in 2025, this is our new word, and this is what we're going to do. And then 2 or 3 months in, there's going to be some challenges that happen. There's going to be some circumstances that happen. And I want to encourage you that it's not that in all the planning that you do or all the goal setting that you do, it's going to be how you deal with the challenges that come up and sometimes, take you off track of those goals. And, I had a goal this morning that I was going to sit down and I was going to go over Proverbs 31 with you because it's the 31st of the month and we're in Inchstones and do all this stuff. And we sat down in our men's group and I just started to ask probably one of the wisest men that I know, and an incredible businessman, an incredible father, an incredible husband. His name is Mike Smalls. And I just asked him a couple of questions. I said, if based off of your business acumen, your family acumen, your relationship acumen, based off that, your wisdom, he's been married for 38 years. He's built many businesses, sold them, things like this, been very successful in different areas of his life. What would be some of the principles that you would share? And we're actually going to be sharing those today. And I'm going to be sharing with you. We got a masterclass. We sat down. And so what the thing that I want you to understand is, as a man, if you're not in a men's group, get in a men's group. If you're a woman and you're not in a woman's group, get in a woman's group, or even start one. It starts as simple as, sit down, ask people what their prayer requests are, ask them to speak life to each other, which is something specific. Say something specific about someone in the group that's right there. Look them in their eyes, say their name, and say something about them that inspires you. And that will be the basis of your group. And then have some sort of wisdom that you guys read together and ask what the other person thinks about it. This is the makeup for a group that literally can change your life. And today has changed my life because I got to sit down and have a masterclass with a man who has built many businesses, sold many businesses, is building more, has been married 38 years, has has incredible children, is now a grandfather, and is dealing with the circumstances in life that happen, not just the plans that he made when he started off. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
The Vibe Room is coming. Actually, it's going to be a combination. So it's going to be the Vibe Experience, which is going to be so incredible. It is April 12th, so mark your calendars. April 12th. Make sure that you're subscribed, that you're commenting, and you're sharing the podcast with every single person that you know, because somebody needs it. Somebody needs to hear it today. We've got a masterclass coming, and this is on business, on parenting, on marriage and friendship. It was unbelievable. I got to sit down with the guy today, Mike Smalls, and the dude is unreal. He's in my men's group. I have access to him because he's a friend of mine. And, membership gives you privileges, but relationships get you access. And when you have access to people, it is unreal. So make sure that you get in some sort of group. If you're in a woman, get in a woman's group. If you're a man, get in a men's group. And it really can change your life. It could be incredible. So mark your calendar. April 12th is going to be the Vibe Experience. It's going to be Baron Baptiste, Keith Hale, Coach Keith Hale, and myself. We're going to be working from about 9 until 3:30. That's going to be that Vibe Experience where we're going to dive deep into. Baron has built physical businesses on every continent in the world. Keith Hale has retired for the first time at 28 years old, and they're going to be laying down their principles on how to be able to build these things. Baron sold $150 million on QVC, set records there, and he's going to be sharing his knowledge and wisdom with you for that 6 hours, which is going to be amazing. And then we're going to break for a little bit, have some food, and you'll get ready, and then we'll have the Vibe Room, and I'm going to bring you a couple incredible interviews. We've got a musical guest that's coming. It is going to be unreal. The way in which you can go, we're going to be releasing the tickets very soon. The tickets for it are going to be $500 there, but also what you can do if you want. I've released this. The first 10 people who become founders on my Substack, it's $150 for the full year. You get all the newsletters, so you get all that, plus you'll get a ticket to the Vibe Experience. So, I mean, there's only 10 that are available. So the first 10 that sign up as a founder, then you'll get that. So it'll be great. Check those things out. This masterclass that I got today was unreal. I had a plan today. Really, I had a plan. Just like all of us do, January 1st, which is tomorrow, we're all going to have New Year's resolutions. We're going to have a plan, and then life is going to punch us in the mouth. And when life punches us in the mouth, it's going to be about the way that we react to it, we adapt to it, and we start looking at our muscle memory that will determine the type of success that we have in that area. I don't know any person, whether it be in a relationship or in a marriage, with kids or with a business, that ever said, this is my plan, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to set out and I'm going to do that, and then they did that exact thing. It always had little hiccups. It always had little twists and turns. And it's the way in which we deal with those twists and turns that determine our success, not the plan that we put in place. And it was nice because when I sat down today, I thought it was just going to be all Proverbs 31, which is Proverbs 31 is all about an incredible, incredible wife, and woman in our life that we're all looking for. And if you read Proverbs 31 today, I would suggest it because it will help you in your marriage and honoring your woman. And so I encouraged all the guys in our group today to write a letter to your wife. Women, write a letter to your husbands. Make sure that it's handwritten and it's very, very specific. And so we will go through a couple things in Proverbs 31, but I was blown away because I just started asking Mike Smalls questions today. I asked him, I said, how long have you been married? 38 years. Have you sold businesses? Yes. Have you built businesses? Yes. Do you have kids? Yes. Are you a grandparent? Yes. He's gone through all these stages, all these things. And I said, so give me some principles, on it. And I said, let's start off with the business aspect of it, but it can apply. This is principle based, so it can apply to anything. So one of the first things that he said was what you like and what you're good at has an intersection. When I heard this, I was like, okay, tell me more. He said, once you find that intersection, then you can choose if you want to go down that road. But too many people figure out what they like and they just go at it, or figure out what they're good at and then they just go do it. But the intersection of what you like and what you're actually good at is amazing. He gave an example. He said, I could like singing, but I could be a horrible singer. Most likely, it probably won't work out. I can love basketball or like basketball, but I could be 4 8 and not be able to dribble or shoot. And, maybe that won't be the scenario. There's going to be an intersection of what you like and what you're good at. And once you find that intersection, you can go hard in those areas. And so I said, okay, so how do you know when to move forward? And what he said is that desire is not enough. Desire is not enough. And when you look at any area, so discipline, every one of you with your New Year's resolutions, the desire of it, we all got the desire. We all, we're all signing up for the gyms. We're getting on, every person is saying, I'm going to do this kind of exercise and that kind of exercise. I'm going to eat different. I'm going to do a cleanse. I'm going to do all these things. But the desire is not enough. First of all, we got to have self-awareness. And when Mike was talking about it, he was like, you got to have self-awareness. You got to understand, the things that you're good at, the things that you like. Is there an intersection? We got to be self-aware there. And then he said, this is the hardest thing that we'll ever do is self-analysis, right? So we got to look and we got to analyze the things in our lives that either will move us forward to it or we go away from it. And as we began to talk, he talked about the application of that desire, right? So, the desire is not enough. The self-awareness, we got to have it, the self-analysis, and then the application of those desires that you have. Can you apply them? Can you apply and move forward? This is the question that he asked. And he said, people who are truly good are great in anything that they do, like the great or the best. Whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in marriage, whether it be with kids, whether it be, in business or a sport or whatever it is, he said they all have a distorted view of reality. And I was like, a distorted view of reality, is that a negative thing? He said, no, it's a positive thing. What it does is it has you to focus on that one thing really, really intently and cut off every single other thing that's in, not in line with that thing. But you got to be okay with other things suffering. So if you focus solely just on your marriage, sometimes you're going to find that, other areas are going to suffer a little bit, and you got to be okay in those areas. Now, there are things that if we focus in on, then they'll bring the other things. But he said a distorted view of reality is when you achieve an enormous amount of greatness or things like that. And when we see it, but also ask yourself, is that actually what I want? So as we went through, he talked about the business side of it, and then we talked about marriage. I said, oh, take me through marriage. I said, give me the different stages of marriage. And I never heard it like this, but it really gave me some insight, right? And so he said, Mike said, there's different stages of marriage. There's pre-kids, there's kids, there's teenage, there's college, there's empty nest, and there's grandparenting. And I was like, cool. So if we were to honor our wife in those areas, where should we honor our wife at the highest? Because it was the 31st of the month, and it's Proverbs 31. How can we honor our woman? And he said, pre-kids, it's all about the foundation of your relationship. Make sure that the communication is there, spending time, making sure that she knows that you love her, that you're attracted to her, all these things. And when we get to the kids stage, date night is very, very important because you got to make sure that the relationship stays intact. Teenage, he said, make sure that your wife feels honored and respected by your kids, and that you're protecting that and honoring that at the highest level. Through the college years, allow her to cry on your shoulder. He said there's going to be a lot of tears. There's going to be a lot of angst because, through that college years, you're going to, you don't have the kids anymore. You don't have the little teenagers anymore. You got college kids, and maybe they don't need you as much. So there's going to be a lot of tears. He said in the empty nest, he said it's going to be the same. Make sure that you're there to console as far as the tears, but spend as much time as possible. And then in the grandparenting, making sure that as a grandparent that your woman feels beautiful and she feels attractive to you. And I was like, whoa, that's amazing, right? And so after that, he said that there's no such thing as balance, right? There's no such thing as balance. There's just focus. And my wife has told me this all the time. Brooklyn, I love you. And she said, hey, there's no such thing as balance. You just be 100 wherever you're at. Be 100 while you're at work. Be 100 while you're at home. Be 100 while you're with your friends. While you're at work, don't be a mom and a wife or a husband and a father. Just be at work. And when you give 100%, then you'll be honoring the relationships that are waiting for you when you get home. And then when you get home, be 100% there. And an example of this is my brother. I love this. I get a chance to talk to him all the time. I love you, Rob. I didn't get a chance to talk to you today. I'll call you after the podcast. Hopefully you're watching. And So with my brother, we get on the phone, and when we talk, I know I could hear his car. And when he's pulling up in the garage, you know what he does? He gets off the phone with me. The reason why is because he wants to honor his wife. He wants to honor his kids when he steps foot in that place. He focuses 100% while he's at work. He does the best that he possibly can, and then he shuts it off when he gets home. And I tell you, there's no such thing as balance, and this is what Mike was telling me today. And so then I was so excited about this, and I was so interested in it, this masterclass that I just had, like literally just had. Mike Smalls, I love you. Thank you so much for that masterclass. And I said, okay, when it comes to business, you've built them, you've sold them, you've built them again. He's in the process of building 3 businesses right now. And I said, what would be your advice? And he said, go slow. Do it for the joy of it. Do it with people that you like. It's not all up to you. Meaning that you're going to have these plans, but not the greatest things in your company won't come from being planned. They'll happen, but it'll be the way that you react to the circumstances that are sometimes not that savory. And then this one, he summed it up. He said, don't mimic someone else's success. And I was like, wow. He said, there's so many people out there that will do great, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it like they do it. Do it the way that you do it. Make sure that you are doing it for the joy of it, for the love of it, and make sure that that intersection of what you love and what you're good at, that you found that intersection. And so I asked the question as we sat down. I was like, okay, so Mike, this is a big thing, because you hear people say, do you figure out the audience and then create things that the audience wants? Or do you simply play your own music from your heart and allow the audience to find you? Because it's 2 different, scenarios. And I don't think one is better than the other. It's just 2 different ones. We could figure out what the market wants, and then we could just provide that service, right? That's a way to be able to do it. And then there's the other side of that you play your music, or that you create this thing that you absolutely love, and people will find it at some point. Now, there's 2 different schools of thought. And I said, which one do you subscribe to? And he said, it depends on what it is that you want. You see, an influencer must understand the audience, where a performer plays for themselves. And he said, you want to ask yourself, which one are you? Are you an influencer of other products that you didn't produce? Or are you a performer who creates an art form that your audience will form, that is waiting for you and falls in love? And so he said, once you find out which one you are you an influencer or are you a performer, it makes it so much easier, whatever. And he was like, honestly, you can apply that in all different realms as far as business, if you were doing business or you're doing relationship, whatever it is. And so look at that and ask yourself, what is that? The last one that he said, which hit me hard, is he brought it back to family, and he said, a lot of times we're breaking cycles. So we're looking at, one of the kids in our group, his name is Andrew. Andrew said, there's certain parts that I don't want to continue on that cycle from my family. And Mike said, one of the things that you want to understand right off the bat is that you're not destined to become your parents. It's not your destiny. Because sometimes we fight against the fact that, hey, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be that. And he's like, but when we realize that we're not destined to become our parents, then we start to relax into it. And so as I looked at this, I looked back at it. Let me just give you the review, right? So what you like and what you're good at has an intersection. Find the intersection. Desire is not enough. Self-awareness, it starts with self-awareness, self-analysis, application of that desire, and you have to have a distorted view of reality if you want to be the best at whatever it is that you do. And when I said this, I imagine that with marriage. You got to have a distorted view of reality, because the reality is that 50% of marriages end in divorce. So you got to have a distorted view of reality, and that's okay. Like, a distorted view of reality is actually a great thing. When he talked about marriage, there was different stages: pre-kids, kids, teenage, college, empty nest, and grandparenting. In the pre-kids, make sure the foundation is there. Kids, make sure date night. Teenage, respect it. Make sure that your wife is respected by the kids. College, there's going to be tears. Empty nest, there's going to be a lot of the same. And grandparenting, make sure that she feels beautiful and attractive to you, right? in in business and in life, there's no such thing as balance. In business, go slow, do it for the joy, do it with people who you absolutely love. It's not all up to you, and don't mimic someone else's success. Influencers must understand the audience, and performers play for themselves and from their heart. And you're not destined to become your parents. I mean, imagine we just had that master class, and that no one else got that master. Well, you guys get it now, but this didn't cost us anything. It costed us the time because we had a men's group. So as we went through, what I asked the crew to do, and what I would suggest that you do, if you're I do this on both sides. So if you're a woman listening to this, write a letter, handwritten, to your man. I started handwriting letters or notes when I was a kid. I was forced to because my dad made us do 10 pages of notes before we could go out and play. But that's the reason why I made my Substack the way that I did too, is my newsletter is actually in my handwriting. So it's imperfect, handwritten letters of, wisdom and encouragement. But I wanted to do them from a handwritten side because I wanted it to be authentic. I wanted it to be connected, and I wanted you to see that I'm actually writing this stuff, right? So what I would suggest is do a handwritten note to your husband or to your wife, and make sure that compliment their confidence, their value, their hard work, their perseverance, their intelligence, their ingenuity, their wisdom, their prudence, their honor, and then finally, their beauty. So if you can do that, what's nice about it is, if you can build that, the foundation will be there as far as, in writing the letter. And what I would suggest is the framework for this letter that you'll write to your wife or to your husband is write and compliment based off of the stage that you're in. So if you're in pre-kids, you're in kids, you're in teenage, you're in college, you're in empty nest, or you're in grandparenting, honor right where you're at and the things that you see in them that you think are awesome. And then here's the thing, future pace them. So if you're in pre-kids, write about the things that you see that they're doing, in your life and what inspires you about the foundational things in your relationship. And then write a future pacer saying, hey, I just want to let you know that when we do have kids, this is where I want to honor you, and I want you to hold me accountable in this. If you're in the kids part, write about the kids and then write about the teenage. If you're in the teenage, write about the teenage and then the college, and so on and so forth. If you want the notes from the podcast, we're actually releasing them on Substack. So on Substack, you can subscribe there. If you become a founding member, which is, I think it's $150 for the year, you'll actually get your Vibe Experience ticket, which is a $500 value, and that's in Salt Lake. It's ridiculous that I'm doing that, but you'll have an incredible time and meet some phenomenal people. Plus, you'll get the newsletter for the full year. That's what I would challenge you to do. I want to thank Mike Smalls because I got a chance to be able to have a masterclass simply because I have a men's group. If you have a men's group, if you don't have one, make one. If you don't have a women's group, make one. And I tell you, it can really, really move mountains. It could be amazing for you. If you want, the framework for it too is pretty simple. Speak life. First off, speak life, meaning that you use somebody's name in the group, look them in the eye, say their name, and then say something they did that was awesome. Say a prayer request, throw it in the center. This is what I would like you to pray for. And then read some wisdom, whatever it is. We choose Proverbs. That's what we do. And then we all read it together and we discuss what we took away from it. Today, it was all about Proverbs 31 and a Proverbs 31 woman. And what we realized was that our women, our wives need to be honored. And they need to be honored, and they need to be acknowledged for the things that they're doing great. But I can tell you, if you're a woman, your man needs to be acknowledged for the things that he's doing great. And when you start to do that, you'll start to see amazing results. But do it through handwritten notes, like analog, handwritten notes as much as humanly possible. So I'm a couple minutes over Jimmy Barbour. It's 24 minutes. I apologize about that. I love you guys so much. It's been another episode of Inchstones. Read Proverbs 31. Honor your woman. Make sure you honor her confidence, her value, her hard work, her perseverance, her intelligence, her ingenuity, her wisdom, her prudence, her honor, and then, and only then, her beauty afterwards. And I can tell you, it will light up light up a relationship, but write it down, make a handwritten note. Check out the Substack, subscribe, do all the things that you know you need to do, and also share it with all your friends. I love all of you. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over.